He's a mama's boy.
He's a mama's boy.
Yeah, he's a mama's boy.
She's talking about my child.
Yeah,
see, and you're proving her point right there.
Right.
Thank you.
She spoke, and you spoke on his behalf,
yes.
And he's 37 years old.
I understand it.
You know?
Yep.
When I was 37 years old, I was putting people in jail, and my mama would just come in the audience and watch, okay?
Yes.
She wasn't speaking for me.
Yes.
She's the judge who gives rules on the law and life. She's intense with common sense. She's Judge Lynn Toller on Divorce Court, where real couples deal with real life. When Gaylon and Tykara met 11 years ago, he sprang for several drinks at the bar. Now, after 7 years of marriage, Tykara says she can't get him to pay for anything because he spends all his time with his mother.
She can't bring her trash to the curb without calling me 11 o'clock at night for him to come over to bring the trash. Go put gas in her van, take her to her doctor's appointments.
I don't make enough money for her. Anything that I do is not good enough for her.
And Gaylon's mom pushes Judge Lynn to her breaking point.
I'm done. Get out.
Too. No
Get
problem.
out.
Has Tykara finally had enough of both of them? Today on Divorce Court.
All rise. Court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Lynn Toller presiding. You may be seated.
Good day, ladies and gentlemen. I'm here today with Tykara Newman and Gaylon Porter. The two of you have been married for 7 years, and you have 3 children from a previous relationship, but you don't have any children together, correct? Right. With Mr. Porter is standing his mother, Denise Hoover. Good morning, Ms. Hoover. You know what, and I can tell what kind of case this is going to be already. Yep. I see Ms. Hoover standing next to her son, and I see her face. And she's ready to rock and roll. And in addition to that, we have a Ms. Vernitra Thomas here. This is Ms. Newman witness, and we will talk to you as this matter goes on. And thank you so much for being here today. The two of you want to call it a day. Yes. You want to end your marriage, and I want to talk to you a little bit about that. And Ms. Newman, you are seeking money for 2 title loans on 2 different vehicles that you say Mr. Porter owes you in the amount of $2,351.13.
Yes, ma'am.
Before we get to that, however, I'm going to start with you, Ms. Newman. Why don't you tell me a little bit about your relationship and how we've ended up in divorce court here today?
He's a mama's boy.
He's a mama's boy.
Yeah, he's a mama's boy.
Now, Ms. Hoover, let me tell you this.
Because she's talking about my child.
Yeah, see, and you're proving her point right there.
Right.
Thank you.
She spoke, and you spoke on his behalf,
yes.
And he's 37 years old.
I understand it because
You know?
I had him.
Yep.
When I was 37 years old, I was putting people in jail, and my mama would just come in the audience and watch, okay?
Yes.
She wasn't speaking for me.
Yes.
I'm not speaking for him either.
Oh, yeah, you
You
did.
jumped out.
Popped right in
You know
there.
what I'm saying? You jumped out.
Ms. Newman?
I told her to jump out.
Prime example.
Yes.
He's left. We moved to Georgia from North Carolina to reconciliate our relationship.
Right.
This was not even a year ago. He's been gone to his mama's house for the last 3 months
Yeah, but I'm
and
paying
abandoned
rent, though,
me
right?
and my children.
But I'm paying rent where you live at, right?
Hang on, Mr.
Abandoned
Porter.
you?
I am going to get to you, for real. Ms. Newman, what precipitated this last exit? Why did she leave? Why did he leave and go to his mom's house?
Because he said I nag him
Said nag.
about financial situations and responsibility because he's very, very irresponsible.
Well, why don't you tell me
right,
about
but
Mr.
you got a roof
Porter?
over your head, though, right?
Mr. Porter.
Yes, ma'am.
We will not have a circus in here today.
I'm not trying to make it be one either.
Well,
man.
you're already on your way, you and your mama. So let's be cool. Ms. Newman, why don't you tell me what are the financial concerns you have with respect to Mr. Porter?
Well, he just mentioned he's paying the rent. He doesn't pay the rent. He works the rent off. It's child support.
Okay.
He has this big amount of child support that he owes. So to me, that's having 2 families. You're giving child support. You can't help me with credit because you have this garnishment on your credit. You have to kick out $500 a month, but you can't provide what you need to for the wife and the children that you have now.
Mr. Porter, I'm going to come to you. Why don't you tell me what you believe the problem with your wife is?
Problem is, it's like, I don't make enough money for her. I don't, anything that I do is not good enough for her. So it's like, regardless of if I'm working for rent, you know, I'll go to work with the landlord and it pays off the rent. and I'm picking up a trade at the same time.
Hey, hang on. Ms. Hoover's about to have a stroke. We don't want nothing to happen. So, Ms. Hoover, what is it you'd like to tell me?
Her kids are her kids. I have told her, because I have 2 more at home.
Okay.
I have raised this one, and I've told her, if he does anything for her kids, it's because he wants to.
Right.
Not because he has to.
Why don't you tell me some things that she's done that you find inappropriate?
For number 1, she has set up about the child support. He shouldn't be paying child support.
He does not help me take care of my children.
Ms. Newman, I'm
Take
talking
care
to
of them, but they
Ms.
got a roof
Hoover.
over their head,
Hey,
though, right?
they got-
They have a roof over their
Ms.
head, right?
Porter,
All right,
Ms.
then.
Newman and
If they
Mr.
got a
Porter.
roof over their
Hey,
head, then
Mr.
I'll take
Porter,
care of
Mr.
them.
Porter,
Yeah, I
have a
mean-
seat.
down.
Have a
Put it
seat.
down.
Have a seat. I'm not doing that today. I said have a seat.
When divorce court continues, will Gaylon fight back when Tykara's best friend Vernitra takes the stand?
I just feel like he just needs to be head of his household. She's working almost 200 hours a pay period to compensate for what he's not doing.
Are you ready to kick your mate to the curb? Call toll-free at 1-877-311-2222 or visit our website at divorcecourt.com and become a fan at facebook.com/divorcecourt.
Divorce Court is back with the case of Tykara Newman, who says divorce is her only option because her husband is a mama's boy. But is there more wrong with Gaylon than meets the eye?
Denise, I'm sure he watching internet porn when he at your house.
Tell me something else that concerns you with respect to Ms. Newman.
She don't appreciate anything that my child has done. On his birthday, he came down looking for a job. I have internet, fax machine, and a telephone. She drops him off. She comes back to the house with an attitude. They exchange words. First thing come out of her mouth is, oh, that's no longer your car, that's my car. She was not down in Atlanta when my child bought that car. She wasn't even in the picture.
Being that he doesn't have a job, he had to sign the car over to me. So therefore,
Being
if I
you didn't
got
have
the
one
title in
yourself.
my name,
Being
the
you didn't have one
emissions,
yourself.
the insurance,
You still owe
and I'm
me
paying
money.
the
So
title
why-
loan,
why-
the
why we
car is
play-
mine.
why we talking
I'm
about,
the one
okay,
that's
you
going
don't
to
have
work.
no car.
He don't have a job.
Ms. Newman, why does she still owe you money? What kind of money does she owe you?
She owed me $100.
I don't owe you nothing.
Trust me, you do.
I didn't borrow nothing
Ms.
from
Newman,
you.
you'll be seated next, and we'll have 2 people not involved in the marriage standing up at these witness stands. You lent her $100 for?
We live within distance of each other. I'm coming past her home, stop in. She asked me, Mom, do you know where a pawn shop is at where I could pawn my TV? Not Gaylon's, my TV.
Mine.
I said, no, why you want to pawn TV? Because we have to pay the gas bill. We have to pay this. We don't have no money. Gaylon wants to sell his car. Stupid, don't sell your car. If a job come along, how you going to get there?
Okay.
Thank you.
Ms. Newman, how much money do you bring in regularly?
$1,700 a month.
$1,700 a month. Okay. Now, Mr. Porter, Mr. Porter. Now, hey, Mr. Porter.
Add it
calm
up.
down.
I work
Ms.
100.
Newman, have a seat. We're not doing that today. Have a seat, Mr. Porter. Act like you got some sense.
I do have sense, man.
But you have to act like it. There's a difference. Now, why don't you tell me, what is your primary concern with Ms. Newman?
Being the fact that, okay, I work for rent. So the money that I work hours, it's not money that's coming into the house, so she can go ahead and divvy out
Right.
where the money's going. That's the problem. Now, if I'd had a little $8 an hour job, like she keeps saying, oh, that'd be good.
She
But
wants
that's
cash in hand
pretty
instead
much.
of instead of
the whole appreciation of the
com-
fact that I'm going out here doing
I get
jobs
it.
that I wouldn't regularly be doing.
I got you. Ms. Thomas, why don't you come forward?
Yeah, but
We're going to let Ms. Newman be cool for a minute. Did you have something else you wanted to say, Ms. Hoover?
She could sit down because she don't know nothing about it. She was going by what she said.
Ms. Hoover, you may run your son, but you do not run my
I know,
court.
I
Don't tell me what I
apologize.
need to do and who needs to stand
I
up, okay? You got
apologize.
that? Okay, Ms. Thomas, how are you today?
I'm great, Judge. How are you?
So far, you're the only rational person here, so we're going to have some. We're going to have fun. Ms. Thomas, why don't you tell me what you see with respect to the relationship between Ms. Newman and Mr. Porter?
I just feel like he just needs to be head of his household. And I'm her best friend. She and I talk 2 to 3 times a day consistently for the last 20 years. So she's like the sister I never had. So where I come at in the relationship is I just try to give her the support, the encouragement that she needs.
How does he fail to be the head of the household? Because he's bringing in the rent money, which, you know, even though it's not in greenbacks, it has value. Where is he failing?
He doesn't take the initiative to just pay the rent. I mean, she's working almost $200. I was almost 200 hours a pay period. How is that possible? To compensate for what he's not doing.
And well, what isn't he doing? Are you claiming he has time to do other things that he's refusing to do? Is he goofing? Is he playing video games when he should be looking for a job? What's going on?
But Denise, I'm sure he watching internet porn when he at your house.
When divorce court continues, what pushed Gaylon out the door?
You say left for his mom's house. Does that mean he moved out or just went over there to help her out?
He went over there and didn't never come home.
If you would like your case heard on Divorce Court, call us toll-free at 1-877-311-2222 or log on to our website at divorcecourt.com and follow us on Twitter @DivorceCourt. Divorce Court returns with the case of Gaylon Porter, who rejects his wife's claims that he is a mama's boy. But can Tykara prove that she is right?
Ms. Newman, why don't you come on forward? What do you believe Mr. Porter could be doing and is failing to do to help contribute to the familial situation?
He's failing as a husband because he's being a mama's boy. She can't bring her trash to the curb without calling me 11 o'clock at night for him to come over to bring the trash. Go put gas in her van, take her to her doctor's appointments. He's supposed to be being a husband to me and being a father to our children, but he's catering to his mom because...
So there's a time issue involved here. You feel that he is so involved with his mother that he cannot spend the time that he needs to with you and your family.
Not being a husband and a father.
Mr. Porter, you may respond.
That's funny because when I was at the house all the time, I was still unappreciated. You know, I only started going over my mother's house because she was feeling sick and she needed to go to doctor's appointment. Since I've been over there, I never abandoned her because if I abandoned you, I would not take care of the rent.
But there's still a lot of other bills that have to be paid, and we have 3 children. I've been with him for 11 years. When we got together, my little one was 2, 3, and 4. They're 13, 14, and 16 now.
Yes.
So there's no reason why he should be a father.
No, hey, Ms. Newman, I will say this to you. You got a lot of nerve getting mad at him for paying child support to the children that he's supporting, and you're expecting him to bring in more money to the house to support the 3 children that you've had with somebody else.
We are.
No. Listen to me.
No.
If you don't have enough money because your kids cost, and kids cost a lot of money, I get that. You go after their father.
Yeah,
not him.
I have, and he walked with me through that. But he's jealous of my children. I bought my children cell phones.
Instead of your husband.
Instead of my husband.
Let me tell you something, just on a for real tip, if my husband was trying to get work and he seems to be looking and trying hard, he'd get the phone way before the kiddies.
Thank you. And that's what I told you.
Because the kiddies don't need a phone. Kiddies not bringing any money in. He needs to work. You support that effort to work with your cell phone money, not your children.
I'm tired for the 11 years of me taking. I feel like a sugar mama in a marriage.
He looks like he's making every effort that he can.
And I support him with that. That's why I can work 100 and some hours. But when I come home and say, can you love me? Can you make love to me? Can we go to the movies? And you say, well, I don't feel like it.
Ms. Hoover, do you, give me a minute, just relax into this one a little bit.
Okay.
Do you think that you do, and I know you want the best for your son. I get that.
She brings me into their marriage.
I used to, yes, I did.
How does that happen? What does she do?
I used to be against him,
She sure did.
my own child, 95% of the time, because I was listening to her.
But
until I stepped back and I saw the things and the games that she was playing. I'm a married woman. She's talking about, oh, make love to me. Get up there and make love to your husband sometime. Don't always let him have to be the initiative.
What do you do?
Take it, if you got it, flaunt it.
What do you do?
Simple as that.
Seriously.
When divorce court continues, what does Gaylon's mom say to get herself thrown out of court?
I've been thrown out of better places, child. Trust me on that one.
Divorce Court returns with the case of Tykara Newman and Gaylon Porter, who are divorcing after 7 years of marriage.
Ms. Thomas, thank you very much. You may have a seat.
Thank you, Judge.
Ms. Hoover, thank you very much. You may have a seat as well. Why don't you tell me what the, who decided that this was the end of it? The final straw. You did. Why is this the final straw for you? What was it?
When he left and went to his mom's house, and she's calling, asking him to do things that her husband should be doing, that my husband is not doing for his household.
Okay. When you say left for his mom's house, does that mean he moved out or just went over there to help her out?
He went over there and didn't never come home.
For how long?
3 months.
You give me your version of that event, Mr. Porter.
Your Honor, I left to go over to my mom's house. They started out just to go over there and looking for a job or whatnot. But once I'm constantly getting nagged upon, you ain't doing this, you can't do this,
So you were
can't do
hiding
that.
out at mom's.
Huh? It
You
really
were
wasn't even hiding
out.
out. It was trying to think of something different to do. You know, I'm trying
Internet addiction.
Internet addiction, my tail. You don't
You
even know what the heck. And mind your business
Are you
and
in
talk
the
to me
room
when you
with him?
spoke.
Tell me about the $2,351.13 and be quiet.
That's
Go.
the 2 title loans that I got in my name because I pawned my truck. I pawned his car that he couldn't pawn because he had to put it in my name because we needed money for the house. I pawned things in our house.
You pawned a lot of things, and then...
You got $100 from me, too.
Ms. Hoover?
So right now, I have judgments against me that he needs to help me pay.
This is how much you've paid off on the title loans,
No,
or is
that's
this the
how much
entire
is
amount?
owed.
Do you have any paperwork
I have,
demonstrating
yes, I
that
have.
amount? Mr. Porter, while she's getting that to me, explain to me your version of the title loan event.
I agreed upon like $500, but she wanted to go get her child. She needed some gas money extra to go pick him up to bring another mouth into the house that we were struggling already at. I just said I said $500. You want to get $1,000, so that's your fault.
All right.
And then as far as the other one, the $300, yeah. The only reason why
300, you said?
the $400 or whatever, the $380 something or whatever that's on there.
Okay.
That's from my car. Because I told her the only reason why she got the title in my car, got the title in the name, is because I didn't have a Georgia ID.
Have you paid anything back on that $300 worth of the title act?
No, I have not.
What was your agreement with your wife with respect to who would pay back what?
Basically, if you're working or whatnot, it's for the house because I ain't even see none of that money.
Ms. Newman, what do you say he agreed to do with respect to repaying those title loans?
He said that he would pay half.
Of my car.
So you don't feel like you should pay half for mine?
If I told you $500, I should pay half of $500.
This is the deal, people. You two are angry. As old as you are, to get this far and not have any sense of a personal obligation to handle your life, you're always pointing at each other for things that you could have done for yourself. I think it is absurd that you're mad that he's paying child support and nobody's paying child support to your kids. I just think that's absurd.
I take care of my children.
Yeah.
Ain't no problem with that.
You're not going to understand what I'm saying because you're not trying to understand what I'm saying. It's a great deal that he's taken on, and you're angry about all of the wrong things. I think, Mom, you're in it too much. You know too many details about too many problems on too many days and too many times.
But she brings me in.
She could be as wrong as all get out. It is not your fight, it is his fight. He's a grown man, let him be one. Put your hand down and don't you open your mouth again.
I'm
done.
I'm
Get
done
out.
too. No
Get
problem.
out.
I've been thrown out of better places, child. Trust me on that one.
You got to, hey, Mr. Porter, I think you're right about a lot of things. But you got a woman in here, over here, running you, and a woman over here yelling at you. You got to let that, you can't let that happen.
That's what the thing is.
You can't let that happen. But you got to stop it. I'm not asking for your opinion. I know what's wrong. I'm just trying to help you out. You know what?
I don't even listen to that.
Yeah, there will be no recovery in this matter. It is so ordered.
All rise. Parties may leave the courtroom.
After the show, Gaylon and Tykara were invited to a mutual friend's wedding in Nevada. Surrounded by friends at a beautiful ceremony, Gaylon asked Tykara for a second chance to make things right in their marriage. Tykara declined and said it's best they both go their separate ways.